everyone, Letty here. Today I'm going to share with you another card drive for Uvalde card inspiration video. I'm going to be using the Call Me Crafty Elle May 2022 sheet load of cards today. So Bitty Penny is hosting a card drive for Uvalde. You can check out all the details at bittypenny.com. There's a hashtag Uvalde card drive. You can also check out for some additional inspiration. We are going to be using this May 2022 sheet load of cards, which is using the 6x6 paper for our cards today. Now you see here, I did do a slight deviation. I'm doing my width of my mat 3.5 inches instead of 3 3/8. I'll link Alicia's video down in the description box below so you can get access to this. Here are the cards we are making. I ended up with 12 A2 size cards. We're going to make one on camera together. I've already done 11 off camera separately. So you see here, I did adjust the width of kind of where I'm going to lay out my card mat. I also added a strip of torn paper on both sides, which again, I'm going to do a full walkthrough of how to do this today. So my card layout looks just slightly different. I did use the same size for the inside mats, and then I have a circle here that I have my stamped image on, and then my sentiment down below as well. And I'll show you what stamp sets and everything that I use. And I will do a full recap at the very end of the video so you can see all of the different cards that I made today. So here is the stamp set. I think I purchased this from like Aliexpress, but it was several years ago. I don't have the link for that one, unfortunately. This one is the Witches and Wizards paper pad by Echo Park. This is the paper pad that I'm using today. And then here is the stamp set that I used for the sentiment. Remember, I had stamped a ton of these. I thought this was super versatile. This You Make Everything Magical. This is coming from the Let the Good Times Roll stamp from Trinity stamps that I got at the Not Too Shabby shop. So I was able to use that sentiment today. So let's go ahead and make this card together. So I have all of my elements that I'll be needing for my card already cut up and prepped, including the sentiment, which you'll see here. I did add some glossy accents to the word magical. I have my stamped image colored, and I added glossy accents to some of the elements on it. I have all of my papers cut up, as well as the card mat and the card base. So here is the general layout based on Call Me Crafty Elle's, sheet load. You see here, I am also going to add in this extra strip where I'm going to be tearing it down the middle and then adding half to either side of this card mat. So let's go ahead and start by gluing these first few pieces to the card mat itself. So again, this is pretty straightforward based on Call Me Crafty Elle's layout. I'm just adding the first strip to the left side, and then I'm going to add the square to the right side. And my borders are just a little bit slightly wider because I did change out the dimension of that mat. And then I do have a little bit extra to trim off on this one, only because I did have a wider border. You see here, my border is about 1/8 to 1/4 inch, and I think hers was just slightly smaller. So to make the torn edge, I'm going to take a strip, and I'm going to just basically tear it in half. So you see here, I have a strip that's like 1 inch wide by, I think it was like 5.5 inches wide or long. And then I just went ahead and tore it in half, and I'm going to flip flop the sides on either end of this mat, on the left and the right side of the mat. So you see here, I just added a little bit of glue, and I've added one side, and I'm going to add glue to the second half of the strip, and I'm going to go ahead and add it to the other side. So I just crisscrossed it, so that way the torn side would be facing out instead of being on the inside. And then I'm just going to go ahead and trim any little excess that I have just to make this an even mat. So here is our final mat right here. I'm going to go ahead and glue it to my card base. You see how a little bit of that white shows through from the card base? I actually like that look a little bit better than having so much white space. I'm just not a white space crafter. I like to use up the paper. I like to have the paper almost fully covering the card front. And so this is why I added just a little bit of extra paper, and I did a wider card mat. So I trimmed off any little excess, and now I'm going to go ahead and glue on the sentiment and the image. So I'm just adding some glue to the back of my image, now to the sentiment, adding it, and that finishes out our card. So here is my 12th card. This is my little Harry Potter inspired or themed card. I'm using the May 2022 sheet load of cards today, and this was for the card drive for Uvalde that's hosted by Biddy Penny. You can find more details on her website. We ended up making 12 A2 cards using this one sheet load. Here's just a recap of what each of the cards looks like. So they were super fun. I think I ended up using, I think it was like 6 different pattern papers, and I just did a bunch of different combinations of them. And then I added like an extra 2 papers to do all of the strips, I believe. So it was a little bit more than what the sheet load called for, but I find that I liked this little layout a little bit better, just because I'm not a white space crafter. So again, this is for the hashtag Uvalde card drive. Thanks for visiting, everyone. Hope you subscribe, like this video, follow me on Instagram. Here are a couple videos I think you might enjoy, and happy crafting.